Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Adrien Peslerbe, but some of you might know me as Papier Gringo. I've been a software developer for a decade, but I like to introduce myself as a digital craftsman. My goal is to tinker some ergonomic interfaces and delightful user's experience. Today, I'm going to introduce you to Material Shell, a project that aims at providing a more ergonomic way to navigate and organize your digital environment. So first, let's see what we can improve. Currently, all the mainstream computer interfaces are based on the desktop metaphor, which treats your screen as if it was the top of a writing desk, and where you put application on it like it was a piece of paper, a piece of documents. And it was a great metaphor back in 1970 when you need, in order to introduce new users to computers, especially the professional ones. But nowadays, we use our digital devices for everything, obviously for working, but also for browsing internet, communicating with each other, watching media, playing video games, and navigating among all those applications can become a bit difficult, like searching a document inside a pile of paper laying on your desk, and switching from activities can be a bit tedious. That's why in Material Shell, we want to help you organize your use case by grouping your applications by any use case that may fit you, either by thematics, projects, or activity. And to do so, we made an innovative workflow that seamlessly aligns with your natural sense of direction. And we will see how we can transpose the ability that allow us to navigate and explore the physical world into improving our experience of the digital ones. So first, let's analyze what is the natural sense of direction. Because in reality, it's a combination of two different mental mechanisms. The first one, the spatial memory, is the ability that allows us to remember the layout of a space and all objects within it. For example, in our homes, we already organize our rooms by thematics, by the bedroom, the kitchen, the bathroom, with different purpose. And we all know where they are in the layout of our house. And the next thing is to navigate through it. So that's the second mechanism, the mental mapping. The mental mapping is the ability that allows us to mentally visualize the layout of the space and allow us to find routes to navigate through it. For example, if you are midnight in your bed and you want a midnight snacks, you can find a route to your kitchen, even in the dark, to find something to eat. And that's thanks to the mental mapping. And in order to be able to use these two mechanisms inside the digital environment, it needs to fulfill some requirements. The first one, in order to be able to benefit from the spatial memory, we need to have a digital environment that is stable and predictable. In Material Shell, every time you interact with the layout, it's automatically saved and it will persist across session. When you create a new workspace or you open a new Windows within it, it will be remembered. So if you shut down your computer and start a new session, you will retrieve everything you left. The good thing about it is that you can configure your system just by using it. When you move stuff around, like you will do in your house, you retrieve it. The second requirement is that the environment needs to be spatially organized. That means where everything is relatively positioned to each other. In Material Shell, we've made the decision to organize it in a two-dimensional grid where rows represent workspaces and column applications. When you create a new workspace, it's automatically append at the last row at the bottom of the grid. And when you open a new window within it, it's automatically added at the far right, which is very predictable. And the last requirement that we need to fulfill, it's the digital environment need to be navigable. That means you need to navigate in it by moving yourself, moving your context, using displacement. In Material Shell, we use a sliding transition in cardinal direction to navigate around, switching from application and from workspaces. And let's see how it looks like. So this is Material Shell. In addition of providing an innovative workflow, we also provide a dedicated interfaces that serve two different purposes. The first one, like a map in a physical world, it gives an at-glance view of the current state of the layout. As you can see, we have two different panels, one vertical and one horizontal. They both represent the two axes of our digital grid. In the vertical one, you will be able to see all the workspace currently opened. And in the horizontal one, all the windows currently open within it. Also, the second purpose of this interface is to offer a way to interact with the digital environment by using your mouse inputs or touch inputs. And that's why you can see we have two plus buttons inside each panel. Each one allows us to open a new windows, either in a new workspace using the vertical panel or in the current workspace using the horizontal panel. So as you can see, currently we have only one workspace with a single Windows open, which is Firefox. For the demo, we will create some new one. So in order to create a new workspace, I have to navigate downside. So let's do that. So I'm currently in below the first workspace, and I found a new application launcher that allows me to start any applications. So I will, for the demo, create a development project. So I will first open a terminal. Then I want to add a new application. So I will navigate on my right or click on the plus button, and I will be able to open a new Windows, for example, my IDE. And then if I can create a new workspace again by navigating below again and dedicate this one for my communication. So I will open my favorite communication applications, for example, Telegram. And I navigate on the right, open a new one, for example, Discord. And that's it. I just configured my environment. If I shut down my computer and start a new session, I will retrieve all the applications not opened, obviously, because we don't like to be resource intensive when you light your computer, but you will find some placeholder for your applications that you just have to click on it, and it will reopen them for you at the same place. So you can, like this, benefit from your natural sense of direction. So if I want to get back to my presentation, which is the first workspace, from there I need to navigate 2 times up, and I'm back. So let's continue. I'm very proud of the work accomplished in Material Shell, notably on the workflow, because it feels very simple and natural to use. And 4 years ago, I made the choice to make it available as a GNOME Shell extension because it was the most popular environment available, and I wanted to be able part of this big family. But honestly, making such overhaul of such a system using the extension capabilities was quite a challenge. And features after features, it became very hard to maintain. So I made a decision recently, and I'm really happy to share it with you today. But it's the birth of a new project, a project called vShell. vShell is a standalone Wayland compositor tailored for the material shell workflow. It will be powered by Flutter with Rust compositor. It will allow us to unlock the full potential of the workflow, because currently it works mainly on monkey patch of GNOME shell, which unfortunately lead to some issues in stability. It will also allow us to provide a first-class development experience for our contributors, because right now, working on compositors is not the best experience you could have. And thanks to Flutter hot reloading and also because of the Rust experience, it will allow us to provide a much better experience. But also, we have plans for more features that we are currently able to provide, notably a first-class support of ultra-wide monitors, because those monitors are more and more popular, and using floating Windows Manager in them, in my opinion, is not the best idea. And I have planned I have good plans for them. It will also, in material shell, we do love material design, obviously, and with the Flutter material toolkits, it will allow us to provide the best, again, the best experience possible in terms of material design, notably because currently all the widgets are homemade using an old technology for GNOME. So it will also allow us to provide a secondary workflow called the ephemeral workflow, because one of the drawbacks of material shell and its persistency is that when you want to open an application which, sorry, okay, it's maybe a bit loud now. So one of the drawbacks, I said, with the persistency, is when you want to use an application for only a quick time, like open the settings to tweak the volume or anything, having it to persist is not what you really want. So in order to fix that, I think the best way to do it is to introduce a secondary workflow used by different inputs. And currently, it was very difficult to do with GNOME shell, and having the capability to do things in our own will allow us to do much more, like providing workspace for external monitors, something that a lot of people are asking us to implement, but it's not possible in GNOME shell, in GNOME. And hopefully, I hope it will also provide us easier maintenance, because we will have to handle only our code base. So in order for the success of this project, obviously, I need some support, either by providing contribution directly to the project available on GitHub. I would like to thank Alex Roshka, which is a student that spent a whole year working on the prototype that we are based on vShell. And I will also offer a way to help me spend more time on this project. We created an open collective where you can sponsor the project and my time working on it. So yeah, I think I'm the first one really in advance this morning, because I already finished my presentation, but I guess we have time for questions if you have that. So. Thank you.
Over there. Let me go there. This is where the morning run was helpful. Thank you. First of all, fantastic work. This feels sort of like you designed a desktop environment specifically for how I use my computer. So good job to you and the team. Could you elaborate a little bit more on what your thoughts are on like how you're thinking about designing the multi-monitor support for this?
The multi-monitor, the idea is to provide different use case, different possibilities, notably by the work that we want to make on the ultra-wide monitor support is to be able to divide monitors in different virtual screens and to be able to choose if these screens behave like a standalone screen or if you want to have workspace on them or if you want to have spread the workspace for all of that. So you can customize in virtual screen by virtual screen, so either a full monitor or either a splitted large ultra-wide monitor. Not sure if it answers your question.
That's perfect. Thank you. I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Very cool. One question is regarding the Flutter and Rust underlying software. Are you going to be producing your own settings applications, or you be using like GNOME or some other components for that?
There are different projects aiming at providing some already awesome application for tweaking your systems. Also in Flutters, for example, Dahlia OS, or I know there are other projects working on Flutter applications. I want to be compatible with external application because I want to have the less work to I want to be focused first in our mission, which is the workflow experience. But I think for some settings, we will be forced to make our own application, like for the display settings and such. I don't know the full list yet, but maybe also inputs to manage your keyboard or mouse. So we may be forced to make the settings apps, for example, and I will try to contribute with other projects for that.
Thank you. I'd be interested in that.
Thanks.
Over here. And so, like,
Sorry.
first of all, one more. This is loud. Great idea. I love the intuition of the space and like having these virtual rooms that you can move around like an RPG character. That's what I
Yeah.
in my head. But like I've tried similar, like not in the context of a desktop, of course, but whenever there is spatial movement and like having to remember, having to know where the rooms are and having to navigate these kind of virtual spaces, I often have the problem that I forget where I am at the beginning when I'm learning to use the system or when I'm learning, you know, how the layout of the house is. And I find that frustrating, and so I drop out. And
sorry.
like
Yeah.
what I think really helps in those situations is to have like a mini map or some sort of feature to help you ease in, like learn the layout. And I was thinking, do you have something like that feature or?
Yeah, like I said, the interface itself is like your minimap because as you can see, there is some indicators in the panels. Maybe you don't see them properly because it's a bit washed off, but you have some indicator. And it's funny that you talk about video game because we got inspired by them to provide dedicated shortcuts that allow me to navigate using a single hand, which allow me to keep my right on my mouse But if first, since it's a persistent environment, since everything will stay in place, and you are supposed to be the one configuring it, you will retrieve what you have left. So it will help you to find things back, and the indicators and the icon on both panels are supposed to be the minimap you wanted to have.
Yeah, so like I see the one on top. That
Yeah,
where
there
you
is a
switch
blue
to
line
Windows.
on the side panel, but maybe cropped. I think it's cropped.
But where is the vertical dimension?
There is one. Trust me.
Okay.
There is a blue one. I think it's cut off by the side of the screen.
Looks like a follow-on discussion there, so that you can see full demo on the screen.
Are you building on top of an existing Rust Wayland compositor, or are you building a new one?
So our plan, obviously, is to use some Wayland toolkit. The first prototype was based on wroots. The new one is based on Smithy, a toolkit built in Rust. But we could also use Mir, for example. We are currently at the prototype phase. Our contributors wanted to work on Rust, so we tried to use Smithy. But our goal was to provide a proof of concept of how Flutter could work as a renderer with Wayland compositor in the back. So for the Wayland part, we can use any toolkit. But in the end, we want to make it. We want to provide our own features, because we want to provide some features that doesn't exist anywhere else. So we can just take an existing window manager, and also because our needs is pretty small, because since it's a very simple window workflow, we don't need to have such complex features that are provided by other window manager, and keeping it small will help us to provide and to maintain it, obviously.
Thank you.
Any last question?
So I think like traditional tiling window managers often have a data type like a tree. So like you have a tree and each node can contain other nodes, and so you can model windows in that way. So for example, i3 allows you to create these kind of like shell-like structures. Your data structure, underlying data structure, seems to be a list of lists. Did you consider using a different data type, or is there something maybe I'm not understanding about that?
Currently, we do have different layouts possible. For example, you have the split layout where you can navigate side by side, and we have also the layout you used to see using tiling window manager. But I'm not sure I want to implement them. This one, for example, with Vishal, maybe I will, maybe we won't, just because it doesn't really follow the workflow ideology, because it breaks a bit the grid vision. The split layout is perfect, but we have to if it won't be so difficult to add if it's needed. But it seems that most of the material shell users currently, the ones that are fighting against the crash and the bugs, and they're still here today, they're mostly interested in the main workflow, the main ideology. The one looking for a tiling window manager, you usually find better experience elsewhere. If you want tiling window manager, there is plenty of them already. but implementing a layout similar, it won't be such a big deal.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Adrien.
Thank you very much.